to Believe, the Phoenix Suns podcast, right here on KSRN. With your host, Earl Burnett, aka Casual E.
Exactly. I'm starting to kind of figure you out a little bit, Flex. Figure you out. But you really believe in this Suns team. You really see something that maybe some of us are not seeing, bro.
And Felix Cruz, Flex from Jersey.
It just feels different. He's the hungriest dog in the race, and that's what I'm saying. That's another dynamic I think people are underestimating. Is that we're gonna go in there with a pack of hungry dogs, and the hungriest dog is leading our team.
Time to talk Suns.
I want to go down there and destroy everyone in our way.
Welcome into the Believe the Suns podcast, another edition of the Suns podcast, and we're coming off a rare loss as we have only 4 losses in these playoffs. But I am your host, Earl Burnett. We're going to talk about this game and the games going forward, because now we are definitely guaranteed to have a 5th game coming back home, and that could be the night that history is made for the Valley. But I brought in the heavy hitters that got to come in and talk about it every time these things go down. And I got my man from Casual Sports Radio Network right here in the house, Sean McConnell in the house. What's going on, Big Ben?
Man, it's I don't know why we always bring me in after a loss, but man, I'm here. I'm back.
Yeah, it kind of works out. I don't know. Hey.
Yeah, hey.
Sorry about that, bro.
But hey, we've been winning, so I haven't been on much. That just makes the most sense. You know what I mean?
Wow, I didn't even realize that was happening.
What are you gonna do? You know?
Oh man, but yeah, we're gonna talk about that because it's a lot that we can discuss going into that. That happened in the game, on game 3, which of course in. We're Suns fans. This year we have all kind of gotten spoiled a little bit. The way this team has been playing and the way they have been, exciting us, and then when they have that one loss, everybody starts to kind of get nervous, and it's like
freak out and lose their minds. Yeah,
jumping off the bandwagon and all kinds of stuff going on. And you got to realize these are imperfect people. We're all human people. We're imperfect. Stuff's gonna happen, and you definitely can't expect a championship series to not have another team good enough to win a championship. I mean, that's just how it goes, Yeah. So let's just a little bit. I sound like Flex now. Calm down, Planet Orange. I'm usually the dude that's on the edge, ready to jump off, and he'd be like, "Calm down, Planet Orange. It's gonna be all right."
Yeah, the irony here is that Aaron Rodgers is telling Suns fans to relax and not Bucks fans.
Wow. Okay. That is all right. Oh man, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. But before we get into that, there's a few other things that went down in the world of sports that I wanted to just kind of touch on real quick. One of those things being, what was those things? I had a couple of things up here. I'm like, what is that talking about? Oh, MLB. I'm glad I got you in here because I got to have somebody to come in and tell me what the heck is going on with the Diamondbacks. And I just want to give you that reign because I'm not going to waste the time on a team that's this dang bad. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, this is it's a monumental season for the Diamondbacks. And the good news is it can only get better from here. Am I right?
I don't know. They didn't even get the number 1 pick, did they?
Maybe not this year, but
okay.
Next year it's bound to get better, right? I mean, it's got to.
I would imagine.
It has
to. I just see a talentless team. Where's the talent at? But anyway, we stay in the NBA because this is an NBA-centric show and it's a Suns show. But I just want to throw that out there because I'm like, man, what the heck happened to them? I mean, woo, that is some ugly stuff happening up there in the damn baseball world with the D-backs. Yeah. But let's just go get it right into this game 3, man. What are your takeaways from game 3? I mean, I didn't see the Bucks do anything that would make me go, uh-oh, we're in trouble. Like, uh-oh. I mean, Giannis did pretty much the same thing he did the previous game. What was the only difference in game 3 than it was from game 2 and 1?
So, well, to me, I think Giannis did do something a little bit different in this game versus game 2.
He kind of facilitated a little bit more because he hot dogged game 2.
He hot dog game 2, but the difference is, had he made his free throws in game 2, he would have had a 50 burger.
Good point.
So in game 3, he hit his free throws.
Going, 10. Oh,
I heard a little bit of some
light little. You heard it. It was a light little sound, but it was not.
Yeah.
It got drowned out. It wasn't loud enough to
no, it did not.
His routine. I trip about this routine. He should get a violation every time he goes to that free throw line. Every time.
Probably.
Because I think as soon as you put your foot on the line, that's when it starts, right? But he gets his foot all on the line and he tells the ref, wait. Have you noticed that? Every time he's like, wait.
It's like 7 shots.
And then he does fake this, he fakes this, does the bend, and this is all on the routine. I'm like, wait a minute, how are they letting him do that?
Yeah.
I don't get it. I guess the MVPs and the star power, you get that type of leeway with the NBA because I'm looking at these games from 1 through 3 so far, and Giannis looked like he playing football sometimes. He is just putting his head down and barreling through people. And they're not calling anything on him. They're giving him that free reign to do that. And I'm like, wow, that is incredible. I watched that game and see all these ticky-tack fouls getting called on us. And when they're swiping down on us and the ball's going all over the place and no calls. I'm like, okay, now I'm not that dude that's gonna be like, we ain't getting the calls. And I never really get caught up in that, but that was another Scott Foster special. I mean, let's just call it what it is.
But you and I were texting last night. Scott Foster didn't even have to rig the game hard. I mean, the Suns did it for him, which I mean might have been our plan. Just, you know what? Let's not even give Foster.
He was there and came in with a mental block that, okay, we ain't got a chance against this dude. And did you hear Book at the end of that game stood up on the bench?
We don't want your calls.
He's like, don't call it now. We don't want your calls now.
Yeah, no, to me, the biggest takeaway here was that the Bucks finally played their game.
Right.
Which we were waiting for, right? We were curious about it. Okay. And the Suns played the absolute opposite of their game. And the guarantee is that at least one of those two things that I said is not going to happen again. It's not going to be the Suns not playing their own game again. They will not fall into that. They fell in love with the 3 too early, and we all know threes don't travel. They don't travel well on the road.
On the road,
we were not getting to the lane, and once Ayton got in foul trouble, it stopped working for us because Ayton was 18 points in the first half. I mean, he was looking phenomenal,
dominating too. I mean,
dominating.
He was looking for the ball too. You can see he had the hand up like that, leaving it up. I'm like, okay, give that man the ball, and they stopped giving it to him. And that's when he got distracted when he's sitting out there idle again. Now and he starts picking up fouls because he's trying to do his job in that aspect too. But when he's got it going and you're on the road, you have to ride that dude in the post. And I like what one of our comments on here is that the Bucks had a lot of second chance points, and that's another big difference in the game, and that's because Ayton being in foul trouble, he's not on the court to get those rebounds, so they got a lot of second chance stuff. But I still didn't see nothing that just said they made an adjustment that goes, now that adjustment's gonna be like we can't. It ain't nothing that we haven't seen before.
Well, Iverson Vlogs on YouTube just made a comment that I want to touch on. Frank better not see the court again. That was the adjustment. The Bucks finally figured out that once Dario's out of the equation and Ayton's off the floor, you have Frank Kaminsky, and we're going to exploit that every time.
Let's just be honest. Frank was totally afraid.
Why? Let's go here. Why don't you bring Sticks in and just see what he can do defensively?
What do you have to lose?
It'd be the same result. Worst case scenario.
Out of Frank was just afraid. He got the ball. And he was ready like a hot potato, throwing that thing back, and he had layups that he could have taken.
Yeah,
and he usually gets pretty good when he gets in there with Cam Johnson. He usually plays off him pretty good.
So let's use Sticks.
Blocked. He's like, I do not want to make a mistake. I'm scared of this moment. You take the ball. And he didn't want to be out there. He didn't want to be out there.
Let's use Sticks. Don't give him the ball on offense and just have him play defense.
Yeah, go get some rebounds, man. Go rebound.
Whatever. Foul out if you have to.
Foul out. Play ball of them. When Ayton needs to blow, foul out, whatever. Use your 6 rebounds or block or fouls on Giannis. Because that's the only main one you really need to guard on the inside. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, just put another kid out there with energy like that kid. I'm not gonna say he can hang with him, but at least you make him work for something.
Okay, now Iverson Vlogs is now saying
Frank is slow, and I mean, there's nothing giving us an advantage with Frank Kaminsky on the floor. Nothing.
Now, Iverson Vlogs is goofing a little bit too much now. He says he'd rather have Monty on the floor than Frank, but still, that you can't do that. We haven't seen that happen. I don't think we got a roster spot for Monty.
And Monty probably can give you about 10 minutes of some hard earned, defense.
He's not setting any screens. He's not setting no screens. No.
But you know what? I'm glad you talk about Monty right now, because I know everything has been kind of not all smooth for him, because there's some things he can do differently.
Yeah.
I think as a coach, and you have an extension of a coach in CP3 on the floor, they need to reiterate when a guy gets hot in the post like Ayton was, to ride him. Mm-hmm. They get away from him too fast. They really do. And it's easy to stop timeout. He scored 4 or 5 straight buckets underneath. Nobody can stop him. Giannis was on him. He couldn't. Nobody can stop him. Mm-hmm. Get him the ball. Let him have his 40-point game in his damn playoffs. Let him have it.
And going even further than that,
to me, I'm sitting in my couch. I'm going, it does not make any sense to go away from him right now. No. But like you said, we just fell in love with the three. Mm-hmm. And when you fall in love with the threes, you live by the three. I'm going to tell you, it's an old cliche, and it's always the same in basketball. You're going to die by the three every time. It never fails.
Even further on Ayton's importance in game 3, and just in general because of the fouls, but Giannis is 11 of 25 when guarded by Ayton. Without Ayton, 25 of 32.
Exactly.
That's a 38% difference. That's a big deal.
One thing, like I said, Ayton's nobody's going to completely stop Giannis.
No.
But Ayton makes him work and earn every bucket. And I love when he fouls him, he's not letting him get the and ones. Everybody else that's fouling Giannis is giving him the and ones.
Because they're not strong enough.
The and ones. So he has to stay on the court, and I get it. And when he's engaged offensively, he'll stay on the court. I guarantee you, because if he had his hand up, like when he made that shot over Giannis, Ayton's confidence was like sky high, and he just kind of let it just dwindle.
I don't know if you saw
this. Where Giannis scores on him, and he's been a young kid, he feels like, oh, I'm failing now. This dude's scoring like crazy. I mean. And he gets a chance to score back. Now he's feeling like, hey, let's go. And we go away from him. I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to keep saying that, because I've been hearing today on radio all day. Nobody's saying that. Everybody's saying he's got to stay out of foul trouble. He's got to stay out of foul trouble. Well, they got to help him stay out of foul trouble.
Correct. If I'm Jay Crowder, for example, or Bridges or Cam Johnson, and you see Giannis charging the lane and Ayton sitting there, no pun intended, with a deer in the headlights, you dive in front of Ayton and you get the foul instead.
Exactly.
Take one for the team.
And automatically put your hand up. I did it. I did it.
Right here. 99. I did it.
I did
because,
it. Because
look, even Ayton was chewing out the team on the bench. Did you see that? A fan that was, I think it was Mr. Orange himself, had a video, and Ayton was chewing out everybody about this.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, and you still didn't get the ball after that.
I usually pick up stuff like that. I didn't even catch that.
It was chewing them out.
Man. What are some other positives other than Cam Johnson? Man, oh my goodness, Cam Johnson. Oh my goodness. Hold on a second. Hold on a second, y'all. Bye.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Oh, you can play that over and over.
Look, I got a PJ jersey. I got myself a PJ signed jersey in my collection, but PJ
be a poster for life. Look at that.
That was a 50-50 call. I'm not gonna lie. Suns got away with one right there. They might have got away with one.
Can we get a freeze frame on that, please?
Oh boy.
Booyah.
The only thing I'll agree with Jeff Van Gundy is he said, even if that's a charge, count it anyway, because that's what we want to see. It was a great dunk.
Look at this photo. That's going to be on a poster from here on out. And from where I come from, man, you a little too close to some areas you shouldn't have your head getting dunked on. PJ freaking Tucker. Oh, my goodness.
That was a close call. That could have gone either way for sure.
That was close.
But okay, look, let me just tell you. Kelly Oubre, who?
Yeah,
Cam Johnson looks like he's about to dunk on everybody.
Cam is just kind of almost fooled everybody. He played coy coming out of the draft, man, because he had this tag: shooter, and only a shooter. Best shooter in the draft.
Shooters don't do that.
And I think that tag was okay because he's proven he can shoot. But the kid's got way more than just shooting. This dude can defend. like crazy.
Transition
And
defense
he's
as well.
athletic. He's sneaky athletic that nobody really pays attention to. And next thing you know, you look up, this dude is dunking on you. Got the genitals in your daggone face, and you're like, what the hell? PJ Tucker sitting there like.
And Jay says that's a poster. If they still make posters, they're gonna make a poster of this one. I'm telling you.
Oh,
right
yeah,
now.
they still make posters? Damn.
Oh, they'll make this poster.
You're gonna call that what? Social media is gonna be on the daggone going viral for here on out. You just go on YouTube, it's all over the place. But yeah, Cam Johnson has been the most consistent role player on that I can look on our team right now that has just come out and has not shown any like fear at all. The guy is just so calm and just does his job. And Bridges kind of goes up and down according to who he's guarding every night. Like he's got more assignments. Bridges' main assignment is to take one of the toughest guys. And I get that. You're not going to come out and have a scoring output every time like he did in game 2 and still guard, Middleton. So I get that. But man, Cam comes out and just quietly does his job. And he held them in that game and gave us a chance to win that game 74-70.
Yeah. It was almost just him.
Being down double digits. Mm-hmm. He went on an 8-point
him.
Just him alone and pulled us within 4 points. And it's like, what happened after that?
Well,
nobody else helped out. That's what happened. Aiden's on the bench
talk about that.
And Booker just didn't have a Booker type game.
I argue that Ayton should have gone in right then and there. Once they got to 4, okay, fine.
Right.
Ayton, if you go out, you go out.
Yeah.
If you foul out, you foul out. But let's see what you can do. Let's slow it down a little bit.
Yeah.
And then if he did foul out, then let's go with Crowder, Bridges, Johnson, Booker, and CP3 as our small ball lineup and just see what happens. Because those two wings playing at the same time, it's pterodactyl season.
You guys go ahead and chime in on this one. What do you guys think about Monty's decision not to put Booker back out there and put Ayton back out there with a 20-point lead going into the fourth quarter? Do you think, because for me personally, I think, okay, if the game is over, it's over at a certain point, that you're giving away the white flag, but still some of those points that you can use as learning lessons and use for the next game to get ready for the next game, you can take and use and go ahead and run your stuff. And no matter what happens, you still be down, but you can still get that nasty taste out of your mouth on the court still. And I think he should have played him. I think Booker should have still been out there and go ahead. If you laid this egg, now you laid this bed, you got to go out there and finish it and, lay in it. And then at the same time, I'm cringing on the TV. Okay, you took Book out. Get CP3 out of there since you're going to wave the white flag. Take him out of there. Because the worst thing that can happen is somebody flipping me a leg or something. And then, I was just going, get him out, Monty, get him out. I was screaming.
I get that.
It was a real like intense moment right there for me because I'm like, anything could happen right there.
So I actually see the other side of the Book not playing in the fourth quarter a little differently. I didn't like it at first because I thought if he's going to go off at all, it's going to be in the fourth quarter. Let's see what he can do. But before this series, before the finals, he was playing the most, tied with Paul George, the most minutes in the playoffs. Like game 2, he played 45 of 48 minutes.
Right.
A lot. So I get it. You're looking like, okay, we got Scott Foster, 20 points in the fourth. This isn't looking good. So why don't we just let Book get more pissed on the bench and then blow up on game 4? And take this and just blow up from it. Because sometimes you might need that too. Coach Monty's known a lot about Booker. He knows a lot about these guys. He game 2, Ayton was down, right? Head down. He got his attention. You know what happened? Ayton made like 4 straight great plays that influenced the game. Right. He knows what to do to certain guys. And Booker, he kind of let Booker do his own thing for 3 quarters. And he did something in the fourth quarter. And I tell you, we're going to see the ramifications of that. Right. The first 5 minutes of game 4.
Oh, yeah. He's seething right now. You can see it in his eyes. You're like, okay, yeah. But, once you become the superstar, all eyes and all lights and all the spotlight is on you. Your words come back on you, too, because previous to that game in the interview, he was like, well, myself and Bridges, we're young. We can run all day. We can, and now here we are talking about his, he's got heavy legs and he's tired and he's wore out. So it's going to be one or the other. And it's like, I know, I mean, the reality is you are playing a lot of minutes, but the other side of it is you are young and you got 2 games potentially to win this thing. You got to go all out regardless.
I'll tell you this, because I've seen some people say that Booker's a superstar, right? And then I've seen some people after this game say he's not a superstar.
Right? Yeah, that's just how.
Both wrong. Both wrong.
Hypocrites of the bandwagoners jumping on and off.
Booker becomes a superstar with this finals, completing the finals.
Exactly.
Because game 4, if he goes out for 50, all of a sudden it is, he is a superstar. And then all of a sudden they close it out in game 5. Oh, yeah, no, he definitely is a superstar.
Yeah, sometimes
that's how that works.
Sometimes I kind of, hate saying that I'm part of the media because that's what we do.
It feels gross, right?
It's from moment to moment, moment to moment. And you just, if you really sit down, name me one superstar. I don't care if he's the best player in the game that's ever played, that's never had a bad game or 2. So come on now.
Yeah.
People see a bad game as he's not elite. And I saw that somebody wrote that on social media. He's not elite because he had this type of game. These stars don't do that in these games. Come on now. It happens to every last person, every last player, because nobody's perfect. So knowing that, going forward, knowing that the Suns are a good road team, first of all, and that they rarely lose 2 games in a row all year long. It maybe happen once or twice. They don't lose too many games in a row. So this is just one of those things. They need that bump in the road to get over something else, to keep learning and keep growing and keep going. I kept saying this. You need to have some fails in this thing. It ain't gonna be this easy. We gotta get through something.
The Clippers helped with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a tough series.
I rather it be a tough series, so when it's all said and done, nobody can throw that dang on asterisk and say, okay, we went through this and they didn't have that and they didn't do whatever. Giannis
I don't care.
Is playing like the 2-time MVP that he is, and he is a nightmare and a headache to take care of. So, if we can get past this dude, then, he is deserving. And at the same time, like I said before, no one superstar in history, no one superstar in these finals or in these playoffs has beaten this Suns team for this championship. And in history, superstars don't just win championships by themselves. It don't happen. Right. It does not happen. I don't care.
Game 3 is the only time.
To these playoffs, LeBron was without AD for a while. He thought he can go out there and have that look in his eye, and I'm gonna take this team. Nope, ain't gonna do it by yourself, bro. Jokic, we know ain't did it by himself. They got swept. Paul George tried to do it, can't do it, and Giannis is not going to do it either. You need that team. The reason why Giannis and the Bucks won that game is because Giannis had his team with him this time. Mm-hmm. And the other 2 games, it was him going straight, putting his head down, boom, trying to do it by himself. And so that's going to be it. And right now we're going to figure him out and make him work harder for those points. And all we got to do is our guys have to show up and shut down the role players. You can start shutting down those Bobby Portises and Connaughtons and just limiting those guys and making them think a little bit like, okay, I can't shoot like I shot last game. And, make them feel you. Then that'll be all, we'll be heading back to Phoenix. Hopefully we put this thing away. So
that's exactly what I was about to say, Earl, is that this game 3 was different because Middleton and Holiday showed up in a big way. And the blueprint shouldn't change for the Suns. It changed in game 3 because we panicked. We started shooting threes, thought they were going to fall, and they weren't going to fall because you're on the road.
Right.
The blueprint is very simple. You let Giannis be a vacuum. He's the one superstar, right? You lock up Holiday and Middleton at all costs. If Giannis is destroying you, okay, send him to the line. Let's see if he can have another good free throw shooting night at home. If he does, fine, whatever. He'll end up with 50 or 60. Yeah. But no one else will have anything.
Yeah,
and then the game ends.
Guys keep fluctuating because it's their first final. They're nervous still too. Yeah. And you get in their heads enough and let them. You got to make them feel you before you make them fear you.
Another thing that changed in this blueprint thing that I'm talking about is the Suns abandoned driving to the lane. I know Iverson Vlogs asking what's wrong with Payne. Yeah. Payne, Booker, Paul, no one was getting to the hoop.
There's the question of the week right there. Where is Cameron Payne gone? What are the Bucks doing any differently than the first 3 teams that's making him be pedestrian? I mean, because there were games where Payne only scored less than 10 or 5 points, but he was so effective in the game. Like, oh man, this dude he's unstoppable. But now it feels like he's not even there. What is going on with him?
I think Milwaukee's size is something to do with that. They just have a lot of size. So when he does get to the key, it's overwhelming. If Holiday's on him, that's overwhelming. The guy is 6'4" as a point guard, big point guard. I think it's just Milwaukee's size that we have to overcome.
A dynamic that has been dynamic for us through these playoffs. You know, when you got a backup guard that comes in and your scoring elevates. Yeah. Now we don't have that. Now it's like we got to wait and kind of weather the storm until we get CP back in there now, because Payne is struggling so much right now. So there are some obstacles right now that could be concerning going forward. That
it's a good matchup.
Yeah, it's a pretty damn good match. Let's just call it that. You know, what's wrong with calling it that? It's a good damn matchup. Two teams that came from their conferences that deserve to be there. And I keep telling everybody this: that team is hungry.
Yeah.
Remember, they have failed to get here 3 straight years. They've been trying to get here to get this thing.
We're Cinderella.
And we're just Cinderella sitting back like, hey,
house money.
Steal one from y'all. And they are hungry. So we got to put our foot on their throat, because you give them more life. Whew. Now those butts get tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter.
Yep.
And man, but I always I'm of the thinking that the better team will always win. But these two teams are like really even. So it's like, what's going to tell us?
I would argue that game 3 was
down the heart.
Yeah. Game 3, I would have argued, was the more must-win game for the Suns, because that would have been the dagger to them.
Right.
There's no comeback from 3-0.
I don't think
would have been hard, but
that couldn't have happened to have them go down. You know, what kind of finals would it be if they go down 3-0?
It would have been fun for us.
Oh yeah. We had to expect that they were going to come and fight back somewhere. Where's my dang on thing? This thing is up way too loud. My bad. Sorry about that. But yeah. Okay, so going forward now, what is the strategy for game 3? I mean, you know what? Have we made adjustments? I don't think I've seen that many adjustments, because we've been playing so good and sticking to what we've done so good. Have we made it? I've seen Monty do a few in-game adjustments. I'm talking about like coming back now. You're looking at the tape. What are they doing that we have to change to stop what they're doing? Do we have to go ahead and form that wall around Giannis now and just kind of double this dude when he gets the rock and slow him down? Or do we go ahead and keep on paying attention to the role players?
I think we keep going to the role players. I think we said we need to build a wall for Giannis to make them think we will, because we're not going to. We're going to let him be the vacuum. The thing that changed was us abandoning our game plan in game 3. Right. What I did see, though, coming into this series versus the Clippers, is we ran a lot more of those 2 screens in game 3 for Paul. The double stagger screen that worked so well against the Clippers and the Lakers that people just couldn't. They kept switching and switching and switching. And all of a sudden you have Brook Lopez on Chris Paul, and you saw what happened.
Right.
That needs to stay, because that's a great move that a lot of teams will switch, and then all of a sudden you've got a bad mismatch.
Yeah, you know, I think Monty also can play a big part in what's going on in the next few games too, because usually coaches can say some things in the media and, you know, pretty much talk to the NBA right directly and say some things that is going on that he needs to have looked at and changed. And we've seen Phil Jackson do it. He's the master at it. We've seen Greg Popovich do it, masters at it. And we've seen those results come the next game after. Monty is not wired that way, where he doesn't want to be that guy that says, y'all didn't blow the. But in that game, you see him come off the bench when Cam got hurt. He came off the bench at the refs like he's been doing this the whole game, and y'all just let nigga. He was really getting into the ref. And I'm like, now that's what we need. The team needs to see him kind of do that, and then come out in the media and kind of do it. But when the media asked him about it, Monty kind of shied back on. Listen, oops, I got the wrong clip. My bad.
Oh, we can watch that one again.
That's gonna happen. I'm not gonna get into the complaining publicly about fouls. Just not going to do that. But you can look, you know, we had 16 free throws tonight. One person had 17. So DA we got to learn from that. We got to beat guys to the spot, and he'll grow from this. I promise you he will.
Oh, yeah. So, Monty.
Hey, Monty, when you look at second chance points, fast break points, points off turnovers, is that where you go back to consistency again, or just the last 10% of the effort?
I mean, you look at conversely ours, it's like a tale of two cities. You know what I'm saying? They so many points in the paint, but plus 14. But the second chance points, that was a struggle for us. And we know that's what they want to do. So we got to come up with the 50-50 balls. We got to box out better. That's on us. We can't blame anybody else for that. That's us.
With Frank getting in there, was that the main reason, just the interior presence?
We needed some size for sure. We needed some size in the paint, rebounding.
The hell?
And, offensively, Frank does move the ball from side to side. I didn't see enough of that tonight. When the ball moved from side to side or we got 2 or 3 passes, the offense looked like it had some type of flow. We just didn't have enough of that.
Front row to Mark. Go ahead, please, Mark. Monty, I know it's a different series, but what can you guys draw from earlier in the playoffs when you bounced back, after trailing 2-1 to the Lakers, not closing out in Game 5? What sort of things can you take from those situations to apply moving forward?
I think we know that we have to play with a real amount of aggression and energy for 48 minutes. That's the deal. And all of our guys know that we didn't. And we've
I got to do it manually. My bad. But you heard what Monty said right there. That he's not going to spend time wasting on trying to complain about the refs. Then he turns right around and complains about the refs.
That's how you do it.
Though, which is good, though, because you want to at least throw it out there.
Yeah.
Throw it out there, man. This dude has 17 freaking free throws. We had 16 as a freaking team. Come on, something's going wrong here. And shout out to my man, Charlie Cordova, which is a.k.a. Charlie the Barber down at Knucklehead on 59th and Glendale, who gave me the gear here the Suns had.
Hey-o.
But I was kicking at his house watching the game, and they were asking, what are they talking about when this guy talking about this Scott Foster do? I said, this is what we talking about. This got 12 games in a row, playoff games, that this guy has refed our games, and CP3 can't get love from this dude. He's like, really? That they because they're not really up on it, keeping up on it. I said, this is what's going on, man. And so now I start thinking, is this coincidence, or is this really something to this? Is it really something to is Scott Foster another one of those dudes that got popped for gambling?
I got you right here. A literal associate of Tim Donaghy. They had phone calls together back in that time.
Wow.
A lot of them.
Oh.
They just couldn't prove it enough to get Scott Foster out of there.
Woo!
I'm just saying.
That is crazy.
But that had nothing to do with why the Suns lost, because like I said, we were shooting so bad that it didn't matter what Scott Foster was going to do.
You got to call it what it is. I get it, but I think the Suns were kind of already defeated, knowing when they came in, seeing that guy there, like, okay, man, we ain't got a chance with this dude out.
True.
I mean, but you still got to play your game and do your thing. But how do you see the rest of this series playing out? Because this game 4 is really, really telling. This game 4 is going to tell, man, it's going to put pressure back on Phoenix if we don't win this game.
Yeah.
It puts the pressure back in our corner. The pressure is still, and give the Bucks credit. They played like a desperate team.
Yeah.
And they played desperate.
It didn't hurt that we couldn't hit any shots.
One thing that kind of complexes me is that the Suns play so well on the road, and the way that game started, you were thinking, I left to go to Charlie's house, and the score, we ended the first quarter, we were up 29-26, right? I think it was a 3-point lead. And I'm like, okay, we on the road. We got the crowd is even killing. We just gonna grind this thing out and find a way to win it in. And I left. Got to my boy's house. It's like you can hear all the cursing and all. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, we down 15. I'm like, damn, what?
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out what was so different. And I see now after the fact, Book being where he was and not shooting as well, and then of course Ayton in the foul. When I saw that, I said, okay, that's what we've been trying to not have happen all playoffs. Yeah. That Ayton cannot be in foul trouble because he's our only big man.
It was
big man.
It was a perfect storm for the Bucks, right? Also, we have to give credit to their atmosphere, a really great atmosphere down in Milwaukee. That might have something to do with it. I'm not going to say it is, but it's definitely been better than in LA where they got like no fans showing up to the games in LA. But yeah, it's a perfect storm when Book can't hit his shots and Ayton's in foul trouble early. That is a recipe for disaster. So hopefully both will be remedied by game 4, because if not, this thing might be tied going back to Phoenix, though it is still Phoenix still has to just win 2 out of 3. I'm just saying, but at that point, so do they.
Intensity and the angst and anxiety for a 2-2 series.
Yeah.
A 3-game series to finish this thing.
I feel it right now.
Oh man, that would be too much for me to handle. I think.
I know, right?
For the Valley to handle, we'd be like, okay, look, this is getting too close for comfort. Let's take care of business. And usually when this team plays bad, they go back and correct what's bad. Yeah. And so going back to correct what's bad, we got to get contributions, and we got to get contributions from Payne back to the level he was playing, at least to challenge the other team to the point where you become a factor. And then we can't rely on the 3-point shooting. We can't. No. I love the Mikal Bridges that runs off the 3 and takes that mid-range. I love that Mikal Bridges, because that's the one that travels on the road and we win with when he's playing like that. If he settles for that 3 all the time, all bets are off. And then at the same time, we wasted a Crowder performance.
That's usually when we get a W, man. When he's hitting like that, we usually get
wasted W's. 6 out of 7. I'm like, now we got to cross our fingers and he can shoot like that.
No, we do not pass him the ball because he's going to be heat checking from half court. Let's not do that. One thing I forgot to mention.
Come in there and be like 2 for 10 or 0 for whatever in the next game. So
one thing I forgot to mention though, we got to get a lot more off-ball cuts to the paint, because you have Bridges and Cam Johnson. They can cut right off the ball, weak side. That will work every time they're not looking for it. You got to do more off the ball cuts. I know the set play is the set play, but those break down sometimes. Cut.
Okay.
You just got to cut to the brim, man, every time.
Now, we have players that can get their own shots and get to the rim. But see, it takes so much energy and so much. You got to pace yourself to play that type of game. Did you see Giannis 3 minutes into the game hyperventilating to the point where he was like, hold up, I can't breathe. I gotta go. He had to calm himself down. He was so hyped and so up into the game. And so you gotta pace yourself. And Booker will get it right. He always figures it out. He always figures out what they're doing to him, and even if it's his own, I don't think they're doing anything to stop him. And yesterday he stopped himself. Yeah. I didn't see Holiday, they just shut him down. No, he stopped himself. He just didn't shoot the ball well.
This wasn't a Pat Beverly going against him.
Exactly. And when he gets back on point, he's going to go back out there and let them have it. Like he always does. Yeah. Like he always does. When he's going, Ayton stays out of foul trouble.
The mid-range game, man.
And CP finds his moments. He finds his moments to take over the game. And that's our recipe for winning. When Booker's going, CP finds his way around and know when to take over the game, when not to take over the game. Ayton stays out of foul trouble and becomes the force in the paint where he's getting rebound after rebound after rebound, and he scores those second chance points for us. And we got 1 or 2 good guys that are out there shooting the 3 well.
Yeah.
1 or 2, Crowder or Bridges or Cam, one of the 2 are going. That's a recipe. I don't think that team can beat us if we play like that. So, and this team is pretty consistent when it comes down to finding their way back when they get off, the schneid a little, when they get off, off kilter a little bit. So, am I worried right now? No, because we still got that one game lead.
Wiggle room. Yeah.
That wiggle room. Yeah, that little bit of wiggle room. But I still say this too. Keep this in mind and pay attention to Wednesday night's game, because I can guarantee you what's going to happen. You're hearing this straight from me right now. It's going to be a close game throughout all the way down the stretch.
Yep.
And when you go back into the history of these playoffs, the Bucks don't close games all that great when it's tight. When it's really tight, they don't close the games all that well.
So watch for Middleton
to close the games. And so that's why I think it's going to end up going down. They're going to stay in the game, They may even have the lead in this game for half of the game, most of the game. But they're going to be in the game when it's time to have that crunch time, and Booker and CP3 is going to pull them through. So I think we leave this next game going up 3-1 and going home with the opportunity to celebrate on Saturday, because they got to get this thing over with, man. He talking about going to the Olympics. Man, get this thing over with, because
they need help. They need help in the Olympics.
It's going to be win next day Olympics.
They need help in the Olympics, man.
Speaking of, since we own NBA, what the hell happened to the USA losing to Nigeria in a dang on exhibition game? I don't care if it's an exhibition game. How y'all losing, man? What the hell?
We're gonna need a redeem team in 4 years.
The redeem team. Another redeem team.
Yeah, this team needs help.
Yeah, this team needs some big help as far as size. Man, all we got is Abayo and Love. That's it.
That's
sad. We screwed.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's not good.
That's no good.
And then you got a bunch of young dudes that are the man on their team. Can they play together? I saw all that ISO ball. It was 1-on-1 all day long. When I watched that game, I went back to watch. I said, let me find out. There's 1-on-1. Your turn. Oh, you got him. Oh, your turn. You got. I didn't see no team ball at all. And usually defense starts first. They wasn't even playing defense together. So I'm like, oh, we in trouble. They're in trouble. But we'll see how that turns out. But so you got the Suns still in what, 6? It's going to be 6 or 5? No, 6, right?
What?
In this series. They'll finish it 3-1, 5. That'd be 5. Suns in 5 in this series. Yeah. I said that. I think we said that at the beginning. It's 5. Yeah. So when they get back on their game plan, they'll be all right. They'll be okay. But at the same time, let's keep in mind this is a series, like Booker said. This is a series. I wanted to play a little bit of their press conference, but my damn mouse is tripping right now, so I got to kind of ride the timeout and stall. I can't even go down the list of some of my stuff here on these things. They sent some good comments right here too. We need to close. Oh, good call, Iverson. That's one of the main things we got to do.
Yep.
Close out quarters better, and you cannot let this team go on a 16-0 run. You just can't. You can't let them go on runs 10-0, and not, if it's gonna be 16, you better have 10 points.
Yeah.
They're gonna score 16 straight. You better have scored 10 at least.
That second quarter was huge, and for the Suns too. The Suns are a great third quarter team coming out of halftime, and they had us on that one 2 by 7. It was just like a uphill battle from the jump, and man, they really have to work on closing out quarters, and it's a hard thing to kind of wrap your head around philosophically. How do you close out quarters well? Is it better play calls? Is it smarter shots? Is it getting to the hoop and getting free throws?
Right.
What's it going to be? They've got that recipe because they know what works well for them. But looking at it from an outside perspective, it's like, how do you do this when they just blew up the quarters on us every time? It's hard.
I think it's just going to come down to just attitude and want to, because that's usually what it comes down to. When you see Booker getting his eye like, you're not stopping me. I don't care who you put in front of him. That type of attitude has to be there for everybody. And it's infectious when he plays that way, because everybody plays off of him when he's playing that way.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I'm not saying that they're scared or anything like that. It's just sometimes your leaders do set the tone, and your leaders set the tone on sometimes how a game's going to play out too.
And you know what'll help them as well is because Ayton is getting sometimes looked on from Giannis and Lopez at the same time, having a man or 2 or 3 crash the boards with him so that he can tip it to you, because sometimes he has to do that. And he tips and there's no one there. And he's just like, why am I working this hard if no one else is here with me?
Exactly.
That has to happen.
Yeah, that does. And look for the Bucks to try to continue to get Ayton in foul trouble. That's going to be key. That's going to be really key, because they saw that was a recipe for their success, was getting him out the way. And did you see all the second chance points, and you see all the extra rebounds, and Giannis grabbing it and just going right back up, dunking it on 3 people? And it was like, wow, they know the recipe. If we can get that guy, he's the centerpiece, out the way, we got this team. Because when they go small, we screwed on the boards, and we're not gonna out rebound that team.
You got guys like Bobby Portis losing his mind.
Yeah, dudes that are PJ Tucker is no piece of cake to play against. So we got Aiden is still key. He's been the key since this thing started, and he's got to be the key. Staying on the court and being smart, like he has done these whole playoffs. And he's also going to have to be the key of having a scoring run by himself within these games, because we got to just feed him the ball.
Yeah.
I don't see. I keep going back to this because I'm a basketball purist, and I go back in the old days of basketball when it was inside out play. And I just can't, I don't understand, if you're closer to the rim, wouldn't that make the percentages higher?
Well, we've seen his percentages all playoffs
shooting from the rim. The chances of that going in every time are not all that great. And I'm like, and Aiden is a 70+% shooting in the paint around and he makes those shots like they're nothing, like layups when he's on. Did you see the jumpers where he just faces you up and just like he can see over the rim almost?
Yeah.
He is just a natural offensive player that he probably doesn't know all of the potential he has being an offensive player. So now he's on the sideline being demonstrative and saying everything that he's saying on the defensive end. Maybe he needs to go on the sideline and say, can y'all feed me the freaking ball? Remember I said that a long time ago? It's going to be a time when he has to do that. I think
the time is now.
We getting close.
The time is now.
Hey, stop shooting the threes. Get me the ball.
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna go.
Especially when Crowder chucks up 3 of them, he's gonna be like, "You need to give me the ball.
Man.
Don't you dare touch that ball."
Give me. He wouldn't do that to Crowder. Crowder would put him in his place.
That's Crowder probably slap him around.
Yeah, Crowder, who you talk to, fool? Oh man, but we're gonna try to have another show before Wednesday night. So maybe Tuesday on Wednesday night of the game, I should say, before the game at 6. And we'll do a pregame show. And if we don't do the pregame show, we'll probably just do it after that game. But I'm pretty sure the Suns will. 2 things will definitely happen. I can't say guarantee, but I know for sure they'll be in the game, and we'll see a different book. We ain't gonna see that book we saw in yesterday's game. So they'll be in that game, and as long as we got our stars playing up to par, there's a chance that we can win any game. So. I like these finals right now. Everybody's been saying it's been boring, and it's been I like these finals when you get two good, evenly matched teams that just going for that dang on prize, man. Yeah. I love it.
There's no drama needed in this one. It's just play basketball. You know what I mean?
Play basketball, go after it, and you got some freedom to make some mistakes because both teams are inexperienced in this whole thing. So,
all the wins have been 10+ or more.
Yeah, I know. So, that's the key thing too. Yeah, who's going to jump out to the leads? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I appreciate everybody coming in again and chiming in, and all your points make the show, guys. Sometimes I don't even write down script. I just look on the thing. Hey, my guy said, that's just what makes the show. We appreciate y'all coming in and always being available for the show when we do a show, and shout out to my man Flex down in Jersey. He was out here for game 2 and got a chance to go into do his thing down in the stadium or whatever. So we'll have Flex back during the week at some point. But Sean filling in, man, I appreciate you, bro. And we got to get you back in here more often, please.
On some wins.
On wins. Yeah, thank you. And we got to start planning. I don't want to be too premature, but we got to start planning a show on parade day at parade on the grounds, so we'll see.
Let's get there. Let's get there. Suns and 5.
Let me
Suns and 5.
Let me zip my mouth. Let me take
knock
that.
On wood.
We'll see what happens.
Knocking on wood right now.
And normally when you start talking to the freaking media, we screw everybody's heads up. Did you see that piece they did on Booker before that game?
Oh my
They showed it about his shooting and Earl Watson kind of threw his game plan out to the whole world when he was on that show breaking down Booker and saying, see, he loves to get here. He was just telling, I was like, man, if I'm in Milwaukee, I'm like, oh, thanks, dude.
Like, okay.
I'm like, every time.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay.
It never failed. When you start talking to the media and sit down on these interviews because they hyping you up, you come out the next game and you're just not that dude. It's like, just don't talk to us until after his thing is done, man.
Oh, man.
But anyway, I'm still part of the media, I know, but I'm just I'm wired a little bit different, man. So Thanks for y'all coming in, and we will catch y'all next time on the next Believe the Phoenix Suns podcast. Suns are still up 2-1. Let's go get this ring, y'all. Peace out.
Suns in 5, baby.
The emphatic follow. Down and goes for 8. Big guys. Bridges picks the pocket. With a thunderous left hand. Booker racing to the rack. Scoops and scores. Face to face with from far away. Booker drills it. Think about it. Oh, no, he didn't. Chris Paul is not right. CP3, stop it.